Okay, here's a cool country lick in the key of D. Goes to D7. We're going on the E and B string, and we're up at 10 and 10, starting with the pre-bend on the B string. Whole step. Take it back, whole step, same thing. Go to the G and the B string at 5 and 7, whole step bend, pre-bend. So you have. You can do clickies. Have fun with that one. Okay, cool lick in the key of G. We go to our G string at 14, middle finger, bend it up, leave it up for the majority of the lick. Hit the 15th fret on the high E, G string again, 12 on the high E, G string again, 15 on the B, G string again, release it, 12th fret on the G, 14, pull off the 12 on the D, and back to 12 on the G. Okay, so we take a regular F chord, move it up 2 frets to our G. Put your pinky on the B string at the 5th fret. And we take each note and bring it backward and back where it was. And back 2 frets. Up to the 8th fret. 7, 8, 9, 10. 10, 9, 8, 8, 2, 3. Big octave at the end. Okay, here's one that walks backward from the D chord down to the G chord, key of the song we're in, and it goes like this. This takes place on the D string and the B string only. On the D string we go 14, 15, 16, B string 15, then walk backwards, then 13, then we go 10, 11, 12, flatten that out so we get 12 on the B, backward, flatten it out for the 10, and then 7, 8, 9, and 8. So we have. Okay, here's one that's an open G, and it goes like this. Okay, now what we do here is up at the 12th fret, it's just G and B string only all the way throughout. Once, then twice open, then 12 again, walk down 2 frets, then we go to 9 and 8, walk them back, open twice, then to 4 and 3, walk it back, then open. That's it. Okay, here's one of my favorites. It's simply harmonics at the 12th fret, and it's going to go like this. bending behind the nut. If you don't have a Fender type of headstock, you're SOL. Okay, so we go at the 12th fret, harmonic on D, G, B. We're going to bend the B string up half a step, 1 fret. And release it. Then we go backward from the G string to the A string. Push down on there behind the nut. On the A string, push it up a whole step or 2 frets. Okay, here's a cool one in A. Okay, to get this, we do our typical steel bend at 5 and 5 on the E and B string. Bend the B string up a whole step. Now we're going to hit the G string. Bend it up a whole step. So we have hit the B string, hit the G string and release it. Then we actually tap the A string at the 11th fret. And as we bend this back up, we move that tap up to 12. Very cool. Here's a really cool one. We're going to do it in D. So we're on the G string and the E string only throughout the whole thing. Okay, we are on 11 and 10. Playing both at the same time. 12 and 12. 14, 14. Now we act like our fingers are glued together. Keep the strings exactly the same amount apart. Bend them up. Our high E string goes up a half step, but our G string automatically goes up a whole step. Then back to 12 and 12. Go back to 9 and 9. And do the bendy thing again together. That brings us back to our 1. Okay, so what we do here is some chicken picking, which we go up to 13 and 13 on the E and the B string. We bend up the B. Okay, we do the first one, then we do 6 more, then the 7th one, we release the bend, go to 11 on the B, G, 12th fret on the G string, 13 on the B, G again, that's 11 and 12 on the B, then 12th fret on the G, pull off the 10, then the D string at 12, then 10 and 12 on the G string. Okay, so what we do here is some chicken picking, which we go up to 13 and 13 on the E and the B string. We bend up the B. Okay, we do the first one, then we do 6 more, then the 7th one, we release the bend, go to 11 on the B, G, 12th fret on the G string, 13 on the B, G again, that's 11 and 12 on the B, then 12th fret on the G, pull off the 10, then the D string at 12, then 10 and 12 on the G string. Okay, everything is on the A, D, and G string. We start at 14, 14, and 11. we bend the G string towards the floor. Take it back a whole step. Move your 2 fingers back 1. Move the whole thing back a whole step. Go back a whole step, but put your first finger on the 4th fret. Okay, so that's it. Okay, nice bend there at the end. What we do here is slide up on the D string to the 5th fret, G string twice, go down to 3, 2, open, then on the A string, open 2, 3, D string, G string. While the G string is ringing, we grab the 1st fret on the low E string and we bend it down towards the floor all the way to a G, so a whole step up. Okay, this one's in the key of D. We're going up to the E string at 10. Got one waiting in the wings back here at 7. Pull off. B string at 10. Back to the high E. Bring it up a whole set of strings. Do the same thing. Now we slide from 10 to 9 to 7 on the G. Now on the D string from 9 to 7. And finally back to the G string at 7. And then you can repeat those things in the middle. Makes for a very cool thing. Okay, we're doing a very simple walk down in the key of C. We're going up to the 5 chord, which is a G, and it's like this. Okay, so that gets you back to the 1 chord. Okay, we go on the D string, G string, and B string only throughout the whole thing. We're up here at the 12th fret. Okay, D, B, G. Take it back to 10th fret. Go on to 9, 9, and 8. Move that back 2 frets. And finally ending up on the 5th fret. And you can even do it in a fast song. Cool stuff. Okay, here's a cool rhythm type of thing in A. And so on. We hit our A string every other time. We're playing the D and G strings for all the melody. So we do this 3 times. A, pull off from the 2nd and 2nd. Then up to the 5th. 4. Back to the 2. Open, 1, 2. Okay, a cool lick in the key of A, very snappy. We go up here to the 5th fret on the B and E string. Now we go to 7 and 5 on the G and B. 7 on the D. Back to 7 on the G and B. 5 with a bend, a little bit. Now D string, pull off from 7 to 5. Now 7 on the A, 5 on the D, 7, 5, 3 on the A, and then finally just the 5th fret on the A string. Okay, nice and easy in the key of A. We go up to the 3rd fret of the G string. We play our A string along with everything. We bend down a whole step, back to the 2nd fret. B string, 5th fret, bend it up a whole step. And release it. Back to what we did before. Just that much. Then grab the 2nd fret of the D string and bend it down a whole step. And release it. That's all there is to it. Train time. Cool stuff. Everything's in the key of E, even the noise. We're going up to G string, B string at 11 and 10. Bend them up in unison. Then do the same thing but release the bend. Okay, that's that. For the other part, the clangs, we grab our high E string, pull it over top of the B, and grab everything with 11, 10, and 9 on the E and the B string. Bend them up, pick back here at the bridge, and release it. Okay, little lick in the key of A. We're going to be starting with our finger on the B string at 10 and also at 12. Okay, we're using it to help us bend. So bend up the B string, pinky on the high E at 12, B string again, move that 10th fret down to the E string. Okay. Then the B string, release it, and back to the 10th fret on the B. That's how it goes. And that's it, kids. Okay, here's one on the key of A. We go to the high E string at 5 and then the B string at 8. Bend the B string up a whole step. We pick back and forth from the E to the B and release the bend. We do the same thing, moving up to 5 on the B and 7 on the G. Then we go to the 2nd fret on the B string and the 4th fret on the G and do the same thing. And then slide up on the D string to the 5th fret. Okay, here's one in the key of D. Okay, so we hit the D string, open E, B string, 1st fret, pull off, and then the 2nd fret of the G string. Then the same thing, pull off, 3rd fret of the D string with a bend, then the open D. And that's the way the cookie crumbles. Okay, here's one in the key of A. Okay, this is done by the A string, then the G string at the 2nd fret, D string open 2-4, open G, then hammer it on, 2nd fret, B string open, back to the G string, pull off, D string. So it's kind of weird sounding like that until you play it. You can add the A chord in there. Sounds pretty cool like that. Okay, here's one in the key of E goes. Okay, this goes on the A string at 2 and 4. D string 2, back to the 4 on the A, that there's 4 on the D with the bend down, back to the 2, then 4 on the G, 4 on the D with a bend, then 2 and 4 on the A, 2 on the D, 4 and 2 on the A, then 3, 4 on the E, open. Okay, here's one in the key of G. Okay, we do a pull off twice on the G, F sharp, E, so on the high E string, 3, 2, open, same thing on the B, same thing on the G, same on the D, back to the G, back to the D, then G string and slide up to the 5th fret on the D string. Then we go to that same note, G string, D string 2nd, I'm in 3rd, G string 2, open, then A string, open 2, 3, D, G, and on the E string 2 and 3. Okay, this is in the key of C. Okay, this is done by taking the 8th fret on the E and B string, and on the B string we hammer on from 8 to 10 and back off. Then we go to the G and B string at 7 and 6, slide it up a whole step, and back, and to the 5. Okay, then we go on the D string from 5 to 7, to 5 on the G. We hit the A, D, and G all together, but with the A string doing 6 and 7. Okay, here's one in the key of A. Okay, this is the open E, going to the 2nd fret of the E, to the open A. Then we do 2 to 4 on the A, to 2 on the D. Now we do 2 on D to 4 on D, to 2 on the G. That's 4 on the G, bent, back to the 2 on G. On B we go to the 5, then a 3, then the bend on the G on the 4th fret to 2. Okay, here's one in the key of drop D. Okay, it goes. Okay, so what we do is on the G string, we go to the 2nd fret, hammer on the 4, up to the 3rd fret on the B, back to the 4th fret on the G. Now pre-bend on the 5th fret of the the B string, back to 3rd. So that's 4th fret on the G with the pre-bend down to the 2nd fret, then to the 2nd fret of the D string, same thing. Then on the A string, open, 2 open, low E string, just the pre-bend and open. One in the key of C. Okay, this starts off on the G string at 5 and 7, then on the B string at 5, 6, and 8, and then we bend it up a whole step, then down just a little bit, and then back up, release it, back to 6, 5, 6, 8, then on the G string at 7, 8 on the B, release the bend, back to 5. Okay, here's a cool song ender in the key of E. This is up at the 12th fret. We're going to go 12, 11, 9 on the high E, B at 12, back to the high E string, back to the B string, and that's 12, 10, 9, G string at 11, back to the B string, back to the G string, that's 11, 9, and 8. Then we actually put the D string at 9 and the B string at 9, all those together. Low E string, and then the high E string at 11, so we get. And mute that A string. Okay, here's one in G. Okay, we start at the high E string at the 3rd fret, pull off to open. Go to the 3rd fret on the B string, open E. Now we do the same thing on the next one. We go the B string at the 3rd fret, open, and then 2 at the G string, B string open. Then we go at 2 and 1 on the G and B. We just slide the G up. Hit that 3rd fret on the B string, move it down a whole step, we pull off and hit both strings, then D string, open, 2 open, then the G string. Okay, here's a little turnaround in G. Okay, this starts off with your B string and G string fretted at the 3rd fret. We start at the D string, open, hammer onto the 2nd, and then the G string. Back to the 2 on the D string. Now we go to the 2nd fret of the G string, play all 3 strings, bend it up, release it, pull it off. Then back to the 2nd fret on the D string, open G. Now the D string, 2nd fret, do a bend and pull off, Then we do the first fret on the A string, then third fret on the low E. Okay, here's one in the key of A. Okay, we do mainly double stops on here. We're going to the B and E string. Okay, then we go up to 7 and 8. Slight bend. Okay, back to 5 and 5. That's 7 and 7 on the G and the B with a bend. Slight bend there too. D at 7. 7 and 7 on the G and B again. At 5 with a slight bend. Then we go to the D string at 7, pull off to 5. Then 7 on the A. Then 5, 7. Twice on the D string. Here's one in the key of E. That's the B string up to 5. We hit the E string every other time. Slide back to 3. Back to 2. Pull off to open. Then E, B. G string second fret, bend it up a whole step. B string. Let that loose. Pull off to open. Go to the D string second fret. Flatten it out to second fret for the G string. To the second fret on the D again. First fret to the G, hammer on. Second fret on the D. Okay, here's one in the key of G. It goes. Okay, this one here starts off on the G and the high E string. At 7, we bend up the G string. Go back to 5 and 5. 4 and 3. Okay. Then we go to the D and B string for the rest of it, which goes at 7 and 7, 5 and 5, 4 and 3, 2 and 1, and then open. Okay, here's one I'm going to put in the key of A. Yeah, a nice short one, but effective. We get to use little clicky things now. We slide up on the B string up to 10. Twice. 9 on the E. Click your B string, muted. Then 10 on the E. Click. 11 on the E. Click. 12 on the E. Click. Back to 8. Okay, so that's a bend up. And then finally ending up back on the B string at 10. Okay, here's one in the key of D. We go up to the 7th fret on the D and G string. On the D we go to 7. Hammer on the 9. Go to 7 on the G. Back to 9 on the D. Back to 7 on the G. And there's a pull off on the D from 9 to 7. Now we take our pinky up to 10 on the B string. Bend that 9th fret on the G up a whole step. And 7 on the D note on the G string, 7th fret. Okay, here's one in the key of A, taken directly from I Know a Little by Lynyrd Skynyrd. Very groovy. Okay, we go to the B string at 5. We put our pinky all the way up here at 8. hit the B string, now the E string, and pull it off to the 5. And hit the B again. Slide it up 1 fret, and we're going to keep doing that. And finally, when we hit the high E, we go back to 8 on the 5 with the bend up, and then end up on the 10th fret of the B. Just as cool as it can be. Okay, here's a little waltz in the key of A. Okay, we do our typical steel bend. We do 2 to 4 on the D, 2 on the G, 4, pull off to 2 on the G. Now our typical bend, we have 5 and 5 on the E and the B, and the 4 on the G. 2 bends there going on. We make a D chord, but we move it up a whole step. We're just bending up our index finger. Then same thing on D. Then our same steel bend. And you can end on an A or whatever you desire. Okay, here's one I taught on my channel not too long ago. It's in G, goes like this. Okay, so that is some pull-offs. So we do the D with the hammer on to the 2nd fret, to the G string, then we do a pull off from 3-2 open, and same on the D string, and then the G chord. Same lick. D chord, same lick. C chord. Just that easy. Okay, here we are in the key of C. You got a brand new set of strings for you to bend. We go like an A chord without your first finger, move it up to the 5th fret. Okay, that is again at the 5th fret. We take our D string and actually bend it up a whole step. It's a bear. Go to an F chord, get rid of that finger, and just going to bend that G string up just a hair, half step. Go to the G chord, just moving it up 2 frets. Back to the beginning. Okay. Pretty as it gets. Here's another 3-chord thing in the key of D. Okay, so that is 4 and 3 at the D and the B. 5 and 5. 7 and 7. Bend the D string up a whole step. Then we go to the G and E string at 4 and 5. 5 and 5. 7 and 7. Bend the G string. Now we go to the A, which is the 6th and 5th frets. 7, 7. 9 and 9. Same bend. Some stuff from Brooks and Dunn's Neon Moon that's very cool. And so on, but the 3rd of the A which is 2nd fret B string and 4th fret G string doing unison, just by bending the G string. It's very cool. Plus the walk up from A to D is very cool, going on G and B string up to 6 and 5, up to 9 and 8, and then 11 and 10, adding that 12 on the B string, hammer on, pull off. Very cool. Okay, here in the key of G, and actually any key, I want to let you know how important it is to use the thirds and the fifths on the low strings in order to bring some cool closure to the end of some songs or to the end of some licks. Okay, here's like the G with the low third. Okay, so you have G's ringing out. You just go to that 2nd fret on the A string, do it a half step. It sounds really cool if you fade it in. And the other one being just the D. Okay, so just stuff you really need to know. Here's what I'm going to toss in the key of A. It's going to be like... just going to do the first half, which is up at the E string at 10th fret. Start with a pre-bend and release it. Pull off to 8. 10 on the B. Back down to 10 on the E. Back to 10 on the B. Then 8, 9 hammer on the E. Now we go from 10 to 8 on the B string, to 9 on the G, and that old thing, 8 to 10. Here's one in the key of D. Okay, of course we have the D chord, then open A, hammer on to the 3rd fret, D string, back to that 3rd fret on the A, that's 3rd fret again on the D, 3rd fret on the A, and then the D string again. Then going up to the 5th fret, playing the D, G, and B strings, up to the 7th fret. Here's one I'm going to toss in the key of A. All kinds of stuff to be done there. Going up to 7 on the D, 7, 5, 7, 5 and 5 on the G and the B, or taking that 7 and pulling off to the 5, and going up to the high E and B, doing that. So you got the high E and the high B here going, then the G and the B with the bend. You can end up on the 7 and the 6 on the D and G. Okay, here's one in the key of E. Goes okay, we go 9 to 11 on the D string, 9 on G, back to 11 on the D. Now we go to 11 and 10 on the G and B string, bend it up. 12 and 12 on the B and E. Back to the bend we did before with the pre-bend to 9 and 9. Then we do 12 and 11 on the B and G. Back half step. End up at 9 and 9. Here's one in E7, a little banjo roll. Okay, we do this by playing G at 4, B at 3, E at 4. We do a thumb on the G, then we go to the high E with our middle finger, and then the B string with our first finger. We pull off the high E to open E. Go back half step. Same thing. We play the E string twice. Go back again. Twice again on the high E. Back. Here's an easy one in the key of D. Okay, we start off with the 7th fret on the D string, hammer on the 9, to 7 on the G, to 9 on the G, bend it up a whole step, then the B string at 10, now release that bend on the G, and back to 7. Then 9 and 7 on the D. Now we go to 5 on the A, and it'll actually hit the D string. So we hit the D string, then release the bend, down to 5 on the A. Here's a nice easy pentatonic lick in the key of E. Okay, we start off on 12, have one waiting in the wings at 9 on the high E. Okay. Same thing on B. Now we go to 11 and 9 on the G. Same thing on the D. Same thing on the A. And then back a whole step to the 7th on the A. And you can do a little cool thing. Okay, so pentatonic is your friend. Here's an easy one, kinda, in the key of A. Okay, we do the D string at 2 to 4. 2 on the G, 4 on the G, bend it, now 5 on the B, 5 on the E, 5 on the B, now go back to that bend, release it finally, 2 on the G, now we go to 2 on the D, hammer on to 4, back to 2, now to 2 on the A, pre-bend,